Hello,
Hello.
good morning.
Good morning. Hi, Raj. How are you?
I'm doing great, thank you. And how are you?
I'm good, but you're not audible.
Is it okay now?
Yes, it's crystal clear actually. I can hear you just fine. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, let's
Yeah.
start then.
Now I think we can start. So, how's the day going so far?
Uh, I've just woken up last.
Yeah, go on.
Sorry, go on.
No, no, no. Please, I insist. You go. You continue.
Okay, I had something in my mind which I
Sure.
wanted to discuss. Like, I came across a video where speakers were talking about irrelevancy of using some idiomatic phrases, and they were talking about these two idioms to hit the hay and to hit the sack.
Hmm.
So they were talking that why should anybody use it, or why would anybody use it instead of using to go to bed.
Hmm.
So then I tried to search the origin
Hmm.
of these two phrases, and then my question to you is
Hmm.
how how important it is to know the origin of any idiomatic expression, because only if we know the origin we would be able to use it well, or we would be able to grasp it well. For instance,
Hmm.
I came across another idiomatic expression that throwing the towel, which simply means that you are giving up. And the origin of this phrase is that during a boxing match, maybe uh, a supporter or coach of that player had
Hmm.
thrown up towel
Hmm.
because the player was not in position to give up. So the coach uh, did it in his favor, and since then we use it as a phrase. So in that way, how important it is to know the region, or or the story behind this idiomatic expression. In fact, the origin, and what are the origin of the two idiomatic expression, to hit the hay and to hit the sack.
Okay. To be very honest with you, when I started learning idioms, I had never really bothered to know about the origin. Can you put yourself on mute for a while?
Yeah, sure.
Thanks. So I was saying when I started learning idioms, origin stories were definitely not my priority. I was able to remember them even without the origin story because number one, I used to learn it with picture illustrations. So, for example, the food was so good that my cheeks fell down. So there was this very funny image of a person's cheek falling down. For me, always the visual aspect hits better. So I'm a visual learner, right? So that helped me a lot. The origin stories, to be honest, I started learning it recently. For example, there is an expression called having a yellow belly. Yellow belly means someone who is not courageous, who's a coward, right? The origin of that is there is a snake which has a yellow belly, which is extremely afraid of its predators. The minute a predator comes, it doesn't fight, it just coils and shows its yellow belly. So that is the origin story of that. Now I'm slowly hooked on to the origin stories. Otherwise, to be honest, there are so many idiomatic expressions. You can do a mix and match. For some idioms, learn the origin stories. For certain, go for the picture illustrations. For the rest, just remember the meaning, create your own example sentences. So a mixture of all these techniques is better instead of sticking to just one.
Got it.
Yeah.
What I would do.
And coming back to your question, I don't think it's very important to know the whole origin story of an idiom. If you are somebody who likes stories, who can remember the stories, then it's great. Otherwise, it's not mandatory to know the origin story to remember an idiom.
Yeah, that's quite obvious that it is not useful at all, whether we know it or not. The main point is if we are able to use it in the right context or not. If we are able to use it, that's more than enough.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, let's move on.
Okay. So, are you interested in learning the origin of certain idioms, or do you like remembering them as is?
Uh, for the time being, I have never done that. So whole focus of mine at the current time is to reach the level first, like C1 or C2, so that I could start my journey well. And in that journey, whatever comes to me, whatever I'm learning, is good for me. So I don't focus on learning origin at right now. I mean, at this point of time.
Okay. Um, how are you going to figure out what is your CFR level? Like, how do you know that you're not at C1 already?
Uh, I took test that you had suggested once, the British Council
Mhm.
test, and
Mhm.
they suggest me that at in the terms of speaking, I'm still at B2. In other core skill, I'm at C1.
Okay. There's one more standard English test which is trending these days. It's called EF set, if you can try.
Uh, Sorry.
There is one more English level proficiency deciding test. It's called EF set. You can just Google it. It's EF Standard English. So that also
EF SAT.
set SET
Okay,
Standard
SET.
English Test EF
SAT.
set. Yes, the website is www.efset.org. So there you
Okay.
can take like the quizzes, your CFR level. I think that's the best in the market so far. Mm, so attempt it at least two times. The first time you get used to just the format, right? That shock factor is always there. The second time you're already aware of the format, so you can answer with more assertiveness because you're not bogged down by any surprise formats or stuff. So take it at least twice.
Definitely.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. So it happens, most of the time students know the answers, but because they have a feeling like, oh, I'm in a test, this is something new for me, that nervousness somewhere uh, makes them lose their proficiency. Have you observed it?
Definitely. I have. In fact, when I took that test of British Council,
Mm-hmm.
in the first time, I mean, when I took it for the first time, I realized that okay, I could have done better. So the second time, it was a much better result for me.
Okay, perfect. See, that's wonderful. And
And I
when
have
you
taken that. I mean, I
Hmm.
have taken that test like every now and then, every 3 or 4 months.
Hmm.
So it has happened that I have touched C1 in other
Hmm.
core skill 3 or 4 times.
Hmm.
But when it comes to speaking, I have touched B2 twice
Hmm.
and B1  3 or 4 times.
Okay. No worries. I think knowledge wise, you are definitely there at C1. When it comes to speaking, to be very honest, minor mistakes here and there don't really count. What you can change about the way you speak or enhance in the way you speak is you sound very serious. If I'm looking at you, I can see that you're smiling and you're nodding and everything is pitch perfect, not to worry. But when you're speaking, you sound very serious. So you need to, like, practice the voice modulation exercises a little bit and loosen up. You don't have to be like so uptight all the time. Just loosen up a little bit, and that will reflect in the tone, right? Definitely it will. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, but other than that, when it comes to the grammar aspect, I think you're one of the best or one of the most knowledgeable student. I won't call you're definitely not a student. You are a teacher yourself, right? So you're one of the most knowledgeable tutors out there when it comes to English grammar or vocabulary for that matter. So have faith in your abilities. Okay.
okay, thank you. Uh,
Okay. So there is one English workbook that I stumbled upon on Amazon recently. It's called the English Workbook by Chris Lele, Chrislele. He's the author. It's the English Workbook. I loved it, to be honest. It's really good. The one thing that makes this book stand out is that origin part that you mentioned, it has the origin story for so many amazing words. It's
In
interesting to
fact,
read. Yeah.
you had discussed about this book in previous session as well, like the last time,
Not, but I think,
not the last one,
okay.
before the last one,
Okay, okay, okay.
and
Yeah,
then you were at that point of time you were unable to recall the name.
name. Yes.
Yeah. So even I was about to ask, but I had forgotten. So
No
could you
worry.
repeat the name, please, or have you
Yes.
already mentioned
The
it in
book, the
chat
name
box?
of the book is the exact name of the book. I've just opened it. The Vocabulary Builder Workbook by Chris Lele. Lele.
Okay.
Okay. So it's amazing. So,
Okay. Thank you.
have you ever tried reading vocabulary from Word Power Made Easy by Norman
Yes,
Book?
of course. Of
Okay.
course, I have.
Okay. What's your
Uh,
review? You tell me. Give me an honest review. Was it helpful or not really? What do you think?
well, when I had first used this book, maybe in 2012 or 13,
Hmm.
at that point of time, I was unable to understand anything.
Hmm.
But recently, when I relearned something from that book, I
Hmm.
feel it is really awesome.
Hmm.
And it's not for beginner at all. It's
Hmm.
for at least B1 learner, I guess. So if somebody has already touched, or maybe somebody has touched the peak of A2, they
Hmm.
can go for this book, and they would get so many benefits from this book.
Okay.
That's what I feel.
So for, you wouldn't recommend it to A1, A2. Definitely not for beginners. For intermediate, it's decent.
Yeah, right.
Awesome. So there in that book, there is one section which is fascinating, which is root words.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So have you ever benefited from learning root words? Like, are you able to remember a series of multiple words just by remembering the root word?
Uh, to some extent, yes.
Any that you remember? Anything on top of your mind right now?
Uh, no, I can't say right now. I can't recall anything like that.
Okay.
Maybe like the word ending in IDE,
Mm-hmm.
or submissive, inclusive,
Uh-huh.
or
Yes.
yeah, there are so many things
Hmm.
like that. Um, for example, uh, Benny. So like benefactor.
Yeah.
So if you are using Benny, it is for positive,
Yeah.
or if you are using MAL, it is for
Man.
negative, malfunction,
Hmm.
uh, and other related word with mal,
Hmm. Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
or logi,
Malfunction,
like
malnourished, right?
malnourished, anything
Malevolent.
logy, LOGY,
Mm-hmm.
related to education, like
Mm.
bio. From bio, it is biology. So the study of bio.
Yes. Yes. So yeah, I think root words, as you mentioned, they are like really fascinating. A small quiz. If a root word has the word biblio, starting with biblio, what would it usually be associated with?
Biblio. Biblio is something related to study, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Like bibliophile,
Yeah.
somebody who loves reading books.
Hmm.
And this is the only word that I can recall with biblio.
Yes, a biblio is associated with books, as you mentioned. Mhm. Bibliography, bibliophile. So some words, right? The second would be chrome. So what is chrome associated with?
Mm, could you spell it?
Chrome. Chrome. Like
Hmm.
the best way to decode this would be to think of words with chrome: monochromatic, monochrome.
Hmm. Both these words are new for me.
Hmm.
Mono. I can think about mono, that if it is mono, it is single.
Yeah.
But what is chrome? I don't know.
Color.
Okay, chrome, color.
Yeah, color. Monochrome, as you correctly mentioned, one color, right? And the next one is very interesting. AUD, odd. So, can you think of just some words that have the combination AUD in them? Odd. Just
Uh,
words.
audible,
Audible.
audience,
Perfect.
uh, audio,
Audio. Perfect. Very good.
idiosyncrasy.
No, that's idio. IDIO.
Okay, yeah, idiosyncrasy.
Mhm.
Sorry. Mm,
Uh,
aud-
when we,
audible,
yeah,
audible,
when we
audio.
start a meeting, we always say, "Am I audible? Am I audible?" Right?
Yeah, I said it in the study. Audible, audio, and uh,
A hall where you listen to other people perform or
audience,
sing.
or
Audience is great. Yeah. And the hall,
and the hall, right, right. Mm,
uh, we had it in schools. They would always say, "Assemble at the."
auditorium, auditorium.
Yes, assemble at the auditorium. Absolutely. Right. So, so basically, odd is anything related to hearing.
To hear.
Mm. Okay. And the last one, it's a quiz. Can you come up with some words with the combination spect, with the section spect in them? SPECT, spect.
Spectacular, spectacles,
Mm-hmm.
and spectrum.
Spectrum.
Yeah, only these three.
In a cricket match, uh, there are the
Spectators,
players, spectators.
spectators.
Yes, 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 absolutely. When you want to look into something very closely, what do you say? It has the word spect in it. It rhymes with suspect, starts with an I.
Mm, inspect.
Very good. Perfect. Inspect. So, odd is to hear, spect is anything related to seeing things. Right?
Right,
Yeah. Even the word suspect, you see someone as the culprit. So, that person is a suspect. You have full doubts that, yeah,
right.
it's the criminal.
So even in suspect, we have
So, it's spect.
SACT. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. So I love root words. It's a fun way to, revise your vocabulary, learn new words along the way. So it's great.
Right.
Okay, wonderful. Any questions? Any doubts?
Mm,
Okay, I'll give you an assignment. Okay. Um, One of your root words for the day is uh, Phil. PHIL. Okay.
okay,
This can come in the beginning of a word, in the middle, or towards the end, doesn't matter. The root word is fill. Just try to come up with as many words as possible with fill in them. Okay.
okay,
And the next one is doc. Words that begin with doc. All right.
okay,
So, yeah, these two are quite interesting. So, try them out. Okay.
okay.
It was very nice, meeting you, talking to you again. Every time you come up with something new to discuss, which is quite stimulating, to think about, very stimulating to discuss on. So, great job. Keep researching, be inquisitive just the way you are. And your grammar, I think I've already appreciated you, one of the best uh, trainers for grammar. I strongly believe that. So focus on your presentation skills. Everything else is pitch perfect. Okay.
Okay. Thank you
You
again.
had made great
Yeah.
progress initially. You remember before that, I think a month ago, maybe when we had met, the facial expressions were very pleasant. Voice was also very relaxed. So you can restart with the presentation skill practice. Surely you will
Yeah.
get back on track. Okay.
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 Okay. Thank you.
Welcome. Bye.
Bye for now. See you in another session.